The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid-Carolina Service Company.
Mid-Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, weshopbobs.com for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at weshopbobs. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Red Rooster Sports Bar and Grill. Red Rooster is your neighborhood bar and grill serving the best wings, burgers, and baskets in the Met.
Like the amazing food, the bar is always on tap, and there's plenty of screens to watch the big game. Red Rooster is the Midland's premier meetup spot for local car and bike clubs, fraternities, and sororities.
Staff is dedicated to accommodating all kinds of parties and events. If you're looking to catch a game, have a bite, and a drink, look no further than the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster is located at 7500 Wilson Boulevard, Columbia, South Carolina. For more information, visit redroostersportsbar.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram at Red Rooster Sports Bar. Go where the winners go.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Andre McCullough. Andre is a filmmaker and host of The State of Us podcast, where he talks about the progression of the Black community in the United States of America. Andre believes we must advance past our current state by solving problems and creating opportunities for the betterment of the Black American future. He is also the owner of Article Media Film and Media Production, a media production company that focuses on telling stories that resonate. They produce commercials and web series. How are you doing today, Mr. McCullough?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Excellent.
The introduction sounds better when it comes from somebody else.
Really? Everybody always says that.
Not to my she killed it, yo. She's dangerous.
We stalk people. I stalk people for a living and find all things about you and write up a little quick bio and make you sound important.
Yeah.
Because everybody is. Everybody
Yeah.
we speak to is important.
Yeah.
I always like to think that because I know when we first began this, we were worried about whether or not people would even speak with us because we didn't feel important. I used to always tell Kevin this, these people, they're really going to talk with us over the thing. They don't know us like that. And it's like, nah, just be normal. And I was like, okay, I'll be normal. I'm going to talk to them, treat them like they're humans because at the end of the day, we all have something that we can bring to this place that we live on called Earth. And especially when it comes to our community, I think everybody that is out here doing something positive for us, that we're important.
Yeah.
I know we had a really cool episode with Dr. Napoleon Wells, and he kept beating this into our head. You are the best. You are what's going to make the change. You're the mover. You're the shaker. And I was just like, God darn it. Again, another New Yorker. I was like, good Lord, y'all got that hustle. I was like, this is real. It's real. Yeah, man. I always like to have that feeling. I think now I'm starting to understand why that's so important. But just starting off, we always ask our interviewees this question so our audience can understand a little bit more about you. You just tell us some more about yourself and some of your upbringing. That'd be excellent.
I am Greenville, South Carolina native. I'm the son of Elaine. That's very important.
Oh, go ahead, Miss Elaine.
She was a minister. She's passed on now. She raised me to be a community servicer, visiting nursing homes, feeding the homeless, visiting the sick. And my whole family background is known for church services and playing instruments, singing. So I come from that type of background.
Wow.
91, I started a career in music, taking the stage, performer.
It takes a lot of moxie.
Yeah. And I started producing music in 92, dropped some CDs, produced some artists, hip-hop artists, gospel artists. We did a lot of things. Hit my ceiling here in Greenville, moved to Atlanta in 2001.
Wow.
Stayed there about 8 years. In Atlanta is where everything changed. I saw the success of Black people.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. I learned about stocks in Atlanta. I learned how if you are successful, how you can give back. I think the biggest thing was, or either Ludacris, one of them had a big Thanksgiving giveaway, Christmas giveaway. And I felt if we can be successful like that here, we can also do those type of things here. So even though the music career didn't take off like I would loved it to, I got out of that a very valuable thing that when we are successful as Black people, we have now the opportunity to raise up another people right behind us. So one of my biggest things when I came back from Atlanta is that how do I reach an audience? How do I duplicate that here in South Carolina? And then I came up with a podcast. I thought long and hard. It's the State of Us, not the State of Us at the time. It was the Fan Club Project podcast, which still exists.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw that or not. And it's focused on entertainment. But I have high political views. And I had them both together. And one day somebody said, is your podcast political or is it entertainment? Because they was confused. So I had to separate that.
Yeah. I got you.
That stalled me out for the longest because now I'm in a conflict where because I'm a born entertainer.
Yeah.
But I also love the community and I want to grow the community.
It's obvious.
But I it didn't seem like it meshed all together at the time.
Okay.
So I had to separate that out. But COVID hit. And when COVID hit, everybody had to take a seat. Nobody could come to a podcast. And I wasn't advanced enough to do an online web podcast. Coming out of the State of Us, the progression of the Black community. What is the state of us? Where are we at today? And how can we strive for a better future? So I want to put a highlight on that. And I want us to progress. Get past any propaganda that held us down and any stigmas we have. I want to bring education, and I want us to learn and grow and reach back and grow the next generation. And that's the whole purpose of the TSOU, the State of Us podcast.
That goes back to being a service.
Yes. You are a true servicer.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't think people understand the importance of being of service and what it really entails. Like you said, you went to the nursing home, you were in the community, like you're reaching back. I'm trying to help you. Yeah. Come on, get on this bandwagon.
Literally. And you had some training in that, though, of course.
Yeah, and I've never been a upfront person. I like to be the background. I feel like I'm a machine and not the product itself.
Yeah.
My motivation and drive is to be a machine for whoever needs it. And going back to the Fan Club Project, that purpose was to put people on the level of sight where people can see you. Thus, if you get enough interest built in what you do, people become a fan. And if somebody becomes a fan, they're there for life.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
That goes right into the next question, producing quality content. How important is it to produce high quality content that excites viewers? How do you get their excitement? Like, oh yeah, let me tune in. He's dropping this today. I'm pretty sure your topics are interesting.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. I don't know if I think about the quality part.
Before.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah. Because one thing that I feel may hinder me more than advance me is that I don't like to be messy. A lot of messy stuff goes fast and hard and you spread it. I want to uplift.
Yes.
And a lot of times when you do the uplifting, not a lot of people going to share because it's
you got to go to that.
We live in.
Yeah. Go to that part that touches that soul.
Right. Mm-hmm. But people don't mind being educated. And they do like the positive stuff, but it's not moving. But quality is the biggest thing because when people see that it's quality, they're more likely to tune in.
Yeah, I respect you.
Yeah.
You respect the work.
Yeah. And with quality, I think quality has a further reach. And with that, it's a slow moving machine comes to quality, but it's a sustaining machine. It will always outlast messiness or things that are not built with quality.
I think that's important for our audience to hear because a lot of them, of course, entrepreneurs, they run their own businesses or the content creators, et cetera.
Yeah.
That time, that effort just to build proper quality of production so that when you do have, like we're trying to do, when you do have a lot of quantity, everything has hit certain levels and it is proper.
I just read that the other day. I heard something about that. It was like, being an entrepreneur is hard, but they don't understand like how hard you work to make it look easy.
Yeah.
Like nothing is easy, but you work so hard that you built a quality stance of your brand, of yourself, that people respect that.
Now, my question for you is, when was that quality an idea that you've always had, or did you learn that as you went and got more professional in the ranks and went to Atlanta and et cetera, and then returned back?
I'm probably born with it because when you're hard on yourself,
okay. Gotcha.
You try to be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect can do one thing. It can hold you back and keep you moving slow because you're trying to be perfect. But quality just in the, how would I say this, spirit. Because you want things to be the best.
And you give your best.
You give your best.
That's a good point.
You give your all.
Good point.
Like doing commercials for businesses. One of the biggest things I want to do is bring in, and I'll do it for anyone, any race. But my focus is on Black marketing because I feel like we have a lot of great businesses, services, restaurants, product, but we never advertise. And when we do, it's really on a bad quality level.
Smaller scale.
Smaller scale. But we can be at a bigger scale. We can be clean look. And I hate to say it, but the clean look is the look that's going to get you more customers. That's where the quality comes in at. And that's what I want to do. I want to bring us up to a level where we're matching these big corporations. Yes. Even though we're not spending corporate dollars, but it still look like corporate dollars being spent.
Yeah.
You got me. That was his pitch right there. He got me.
Seriously, so funny about that. Our culture is the top marketing culture.
It is.
But we don't use it.
We don't leverage it.
Yeah, we don't leverage.
And I think that's an education thing. I think even when I was doing music, we would spend a lot of money in the production studio, but not the marketing part, which is the most important part.
It had to be mind-boggling.
So you spend all this money in the studio, but when it comes to printing the CDs at the time, CDs, it's not a CD in sight now, but that marketing part, even now with downloads, marketing matters. Yeah. And if we're not spending money on marketing, or we're spending it, but we're not spending to get the higher quality.
Yeah.
You'll get passed by. People will see your commercial or see your promo video, and if it looks like it's shady, people will associate that with untrust. They're not going to trust something that doesn't look clean. And that's why I want to bring us
So that, in turn, brings that trustworthiness to the business that allows your business then be able to move to different markets for people to actually take your work seriously.
Like a referral, like an easy referral.
No, seriously, real talk. Yeah, that's a great referral. And darn it, that's smart. Good. Yeah. It's so simple.
Yeah.
That's what I think the issue is. It's so simple.
Right.
It's hard for us to get.
Yeah. But also give opportunity to those who feel like they don't have enough money to market. Small businesses, I think of one now that she creates beads, but feels I don't have enough money to spend on marketing. There's two types of incomes. There's the Black income and there's everybody else.
Wait.
You break that down.
There's the Black income and there's everybody else. We know that shows that we were paid less. And all we do, I ain't gonna say all we do, for the most part, Black families struggle. And every day is a survival, right? You want to eat, you want to have clothes on your back. Your money gonna go there first. The last thing you're gonna spend money on is promoting yourself.
I get you.
But it's the most important thing if you got a service. So the level, you got to think about the level of income somebody's bringing in. Yes, we do spend money on shoes, $1 shoes, Yeezys and things like that. But that's just the outlier. For the most part, people with businesses, people with families, responsibilities, they have a great product, a great service, but man, how do I get it out? A lot of people that I approach about shooting promo videos, they're afraid of You're afraid of the cost of, if you ain't got money. Well, even people I know that has money, still afraid of the cost because they don't know what to expect. Never been approached before about promoting themselves from outsource.
That goes to self-confidence, or what is that? What do you think the root of that is?
I think it could be just the routine of not spending your money in a certain way. We're not accustomed to spending our money in promotion. We're not accustomed because if you're hungry, you're going to spend money to eat.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
So it's almost like it's really not a need because if I can just post it anywhere, this is a social media platform.
And it's free. Social media is free. Advertisement.
Right. But people got to understand that if you are a beat maker, there's 1,000 more beat makers.
Yeah.
So what sets you apart?
Yeah.
It's going to be quality. But also promotion. So if you're doing marketing alongside of quality, you're not just getting the black dollars as a black business. You're getting the white dollars, the Hispanic dollars, the Asian dollars. But we go spend money with other people because we feel like their product is quality.
Yeah.
But they say the white man's ice is colder. Yeah.
That's right.
We know it.
I'm just shaking my head.
No, that's the adage.
right.
So that's the adage.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
Yeah. So my genuine goal is to elevate us. If we can be elevated, we can pull ourselves out of poverty. We can pull our families out of poverty, friends out of poverty, and teach the next generation on how to stay that way.
Yeah, teach them how to fish.
So, and we don't depend on programs. We make our own programs.
Mm-hmm. That's
Build
what I
our
like
own.
about being the filmmaker and capturing everything because it's like you can create your own anything, like documentation, anything. Like
Exactly.
you could pass it down to anyone.
Yeah. And the article media, the slogan is document life.
Yes, I love that.
And that's the whole point of the filmmaking part of it. Yes, shoot promo commercial, but I love filmmaking. I love the creation part of it. People should document life. I like shooting documentaries. Every death should be a legacy. Every family should be able to reach back and watch a film about that family member. When my mother passed, I learned things. I learned that she was just more than just a mom. She was a really big advocate to other families. Real legacy that when you look at your parents, you just think that's my parent, but you really don't understand how in depth, how far is their reach to other people. Yeah.
And did people come back and tell you that, or?
Yeah, when we was at a gravesite, a lot of people had their testimonial on my mom. I'm like, man, my mama should have had a documentary. Everybody should see this and know that her life mattered. Anything you do in life of positive importance should be documented. Just like this podcast, just document everything. It's a educational tool for the next person who's going to watch it.
That's deep. Yeah.
And no matter what you're going to say, that's why I feel like everybody should have a podcast. I'm like, if you know how to talk, you don't even have to know how to talk. Yeah. You just need to have a podcast because you're going to say something that's going to gravitate towards somebody. And it's free.
Yeah.
This is free. And you telling me you're not going to take advantage of free resources to brand and market yourself or speak your knowledge or speak your truth? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one person or entity has a market, has cornered the market on information and things that are necessary. You can get even out of somebody, quote unquote, the drunkard man on the side of the road. He can drop you some wisdom. You just got to listen to it.
Yeah.
And just from listening to you talk, I could tell you have a very poignant and measured way of speaking. I like that because that means you're thinking. Yes.
Precisely. I like that.
You aren't just throwing stuff out there. So you really believe in quality.
This is a quality man.
How a man I'm looking at him like,
I have a 9-to-5 and I am a quality analyst there.
Stop.
So I'm deep into quality.
Okay.
So. Understood.
Yeah.
So I guess moving on into more of the content ideas, what challenges did you face when starting your own company? Something that you could express to our listeners so they can see how these things are universal.
All right. So my biggest challenge building this company is me.
We don't get to hear that often.
Right. I'm the biggest obstacle because honestly, I walk in faith. And even though some things I don't want to do, my feet continues to move. I know what's behind the next door. When I open that door, things happen because I'm supposed to be there. But my biggest obstacle is me because I may overthink things because I want things to be perfect. And I may stall and I may second guess myself. And I'm still working to get through that phase. It took me a lot to sit down at this podcast.
I appreciate you, man.
I'm glad we saved you for last.
Yeah.
You can't go nowhere.
I want everything to be good. Here's the thing I learned. all of my imperfections are a book of knowledge. And I teach my children the same thing. Everything you pray for mistakes, actually. I say that because you want all your mistakes now. You want to continue with mistakes because mistakes keep you focused. Every mistake you make is a book of knowledge. That knowledge can be shared with everybody else to prevent them from making that specific mistake, because everybody's going to make their own mistakes. But yeah, those are my obstacles, is getting past my own head, get out of my own head, second guessing myself. And everybody I come in contact with say, hey, you're overthinking it. I don't know if anybody have heard them, anybody tell them that you're overthinking it. And it goes with my personality. I want to, I don't necessarily, the best, I never say I don't want to be the best. I want to be the most qualified, if that makes sense.
Man, I like how you think.
That.
That. Your brain works different.
Wait, what's your zodiac sign? When's your birthday?
Scorpio.
Oh, wow.
I'm enjoying this. I'm just listening to you talk right now because we don't have, especially as a black man, we don't usually have the ability to sit and hear somebody wrestle with themselves honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that? Like literally wrestle with the ego and the id and understanding what's propelling you forward, because that allows you to, and I like how you were making those mistakes so you can because he's right. No, he's very right. Like a lot of issues that we deal with in our community deals with the fact that we don't get a chance to understand those mistakes and correct them.
Or process it.
Yeah, we don't get the process. It just moves fast. We don't get the process. So slowing it down, being mindful of yourself and your decision-making, words you're using, how you're moving, your behaviors and actions.
Yeah.
Man, it's so important. Man, I don't even think, we ain't really talking about nothing else right now. But important, no, because like you said, it comes down to what you do and how you do it. And again, I'm going to bring Claude Anderson back into this because his whole thing was quality. Our businesses need to be quality.
Yeah.
The stuff we produce, our actions should be quality. There should be nobody to be able to tell us that what we do is not quality. And as a black community, and I know you know this from doing the State of Us, there was a point where we were the moral high ground. Our actions and our behaviors and how we moved were the moral high ground. When other countries would look into the U.S. and see how they were treating us, they knew that the government was. Now, you can't do that anymore. They look at our community and they see what we promote and what we push out, and they're like, those people, they aren't good people.
Right.
We didn't have our women shaking ass. We didn't have all our men dealing drugs in the sense of promoting it as a successful way of living life.
Entertainment.
We knew, like, Porgy and Bess existed. We knew that there was drug dealers. They weren't seen as what you want it to be.
Right.
Now we have descended to an area where we are quantity over quality. We have a lot of quality men. Yeah. This is something I always see black women always talk about. I can't find a good man. But they mean it. They can't find a quality man. There are men out there. Right. There's good ones.
Yeah.
But quality, we got Future. There's only one Russell Wilson. We need more. We need more of that. That's why it's a breath of fresh air to hear.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by Lynx Recording Studio.
Lynx is a premier audio and video recording studio in the greater Charleston area with 4 completely different booths, multiple peripherals, and 4 producers. They have the ability to service all facets of audio and video creativity.
If you need to record a song, a podcast, create a demo, or even take headshots and complete drops for Hollywood film, they've done it.
Call them at 843-879-9386 or find them online at lynxrecordingstudios.com. That's Lynx, Lynx, recordingstudios.com.
Somebody talk like this, and I know for our audience, a lot of us who are dealing with transitioning into adulthood or furthering their adulthood and running families now, which technically that's a business. You want it to have quality in your work, not the quantity. We want the quality. Man, I'm telling you, man, I guess my question for you, of course you have those, like you said, you explain those challenges and like getting over yourself so that you can make those moves forward while still bringing with you that idea of quality. As you're facing those challenges now, have you begun to make better inroads, progressing forward on it, or at least, and this is what I would like to say, because sometimes it's not just about you conquering those things. Do you feel like you're doing a good job of mentoring and teaching to others how to take this step or this approach? Because I think that approach, like what you're talking about, this approach is like gold right now, what you're talking about. I think this is something that especially is, we need to hear this more often.
Yeah. So your question is, do I feel like I'm making inroads?
Yeah.
every day. Every person I talk to, I have good practice. I have children, and I'm teaching them. They're teaching me, and I'm teaching them.
Yeah.
But my mother instilled in me that thing as a child. When I was born, my mama gave her life to God the year I was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. At the same time, I had a stepdad who was an addict. And he would take me on runs with him, and I would stand in the alleys with him. So I have the experience of both worlds. I can understand people in a way.
They might not be able to understand themselves.
Right. And I'll say this. I feel like I'm gifted with the gift of discernment. I can read people.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I'm pretty sure you guys can too doing the podcast.
I could tell when we walked in the room, he was already reading us.
Nah.
I could tell.
Nah, he different brand. I see that's a different breed right there.
He said, we should get you on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can, I'm making inroads because every person I meet is a learning session. Gives me insight on who I am because you understand who you are by the way you accept somebody. If you accept the way you accept someone, you understand who you are, what you like, what you don't like, can't be around who you can't be around. And I have had challenges. There's just some people you can't work with because you just can't vibe with them.
Yeah.
But that makes you better because if you find a way to work with them, you just move the obstacle. So every time I talk to, even meeting the people here upstate, I had some challenges naturally, but the challenges was me being stubborn.
Okay.
Because I'm being pushed past my comfort zone. Sitting right here is pushing me past my comfort zone.
Because you're usually behind the scenes.
I'm usually behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that because it's where I'm supposed to be.
You deserve to be in the room.
I don't know if I deserve it, but I'll be in the room.
Yes.
So yeah, and I'm a humble person. I don't like I said, I don't like being up front, but I'm making inroads because even in video work, the whole point of mistakes is you have a library of mistakes and you have something to reflect back on to see where you've been and where you're going. So it's easy for me to say, yes, I'm making inroads.
Nice. I like to hear that because I want our audience to hear that too, because somebody who's had your experience and especially in the world that we're talking about, you don't get to hear people speak honest and candidly like that. And so I want our audience to know, hey, you don't have to be perfect, ready to rock and roll right now like that. It's going to take time. There's going to be certain bumps and bruises. A lot of the content that we produce, we always ask people about how they get to certain levels or how they operate certain parts of their business because we've seen catastrophes. We've seen people make mistakes. We've seen errors in judgment. We've had errors in judgment. Things we've created ain't last. So we got to start back over from the beginning and from scratch. And so I want people to know that's not a weird thing. Right. It's not an oddity. Keep going back to the drawing board, get back to the drilling bit, knock it back out again. And I think especially for our culture, it's something, like I said, we've actually got knocked off our pedestal.
Yeah.
We were on a pedestal, y'all. I always tell black folk this, please realize we used to be on a pedestal. Whatever came out of our mouth, it was taken as right now, our word's not that good. But I think we can get back to that point as long as we take it seriously. And I know moving on to this next question, I think this works well with this is just what are some valuable tips that I guess you would be able to share with our audience in your mindset for the next generation of creatives who are out here trying to make podcasts, film, who are into visual arts, even into doing, and I like how you said servicing the community.
My biggest tip is be genuine with you and everyone that you deal with. Being genuine is just key. Just if you're genuine, you love it and you're not uncomfortable. Even if people may not like you because the way you are, because you're being who you are, people will work to accept you if you're genuine. People will say, "Oh, I don't like his attitude, but I see what he's doing." So somebody being fake, and somebody say, they fake. I'm not dealing with that person. And you're gonna always have your guard up for a fake person.
You have to.
But to be genuine is to be at peace.
Yep.
Dang, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Man, we got to keep you up here for next week. Wait, all right. We're going to go back. Again, audience, to be genuine is to be at peace.
To be at peace, because you're not fighting to be somebody else.
Do your authentic stuff. That's why I like Toby. Toby Nwigwe.
I know you do.
I love Toby because he is like so genuine with his words, with his mission. Doesn't curse. The type of content he puts out is quality. He creates it all by himself. Independent artist. He brings his kids with him. My kids can't come in the room. I'm not going to be there.
We've been learning that from the podcast as well. A lot of the things that we like, the people that we speak with, they bring their children wherever they go. And if they can't bring their children, we ain't coming. So they asked us for the podcast. So are y'all going to be smoking or drinking or et cetera? And they're like, no, we don't do that. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Because they can't have that around them. And start trying to put that together. I'm like, no, this is a common thread for everyone we're talking to. Maybe we're on the right path. You know what I mean? We're running into the right people at the right times.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like dealing that way too, because it's a form of being messy, because at the end of the day, even in the studio, if I allow that, there's a loss of respect. People who come in here, I've had a hip hop artist, they ask, hey, can I cuss? No, be yourself, but the fact that he asked me lets me know he respects the atmosphere.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You set the tone.
Set the tone.
Yeah. This is me. My atmosphere is who I am. Yeah.
So do you have any hope for the younger generation?
Oh, yeah. You have to.
Please, let's have hope.
They're the next generation of the other ones who are going to make policy for us as we get older.
Yeah.
They're going to be the ones to take care of us and set the tone, the atmosphere we'll have to live in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do have hope for them. And I know we'll be somewhere. We'll get somewhere.
And I'll say this, too. And because I like that you asked that question. Because I always pose this question immediately after. I like to pose this question. We're about to run things now, i.e., that older generation, the folks who are born in that baby boomer generation, they're about to hand over the keys to us.
Yeah.
Do we have hope? Do you feel with
We mean
driving?
For ourselves?
Yeah, because we're going to drive the car.
Yeah.
And I know there's a Native American adage that this is not what we're doing right now. We're just borrowing what the next generation's about to have. So what the generation before us did, they borrowed what we had, and however they used it, we deal with the effects of it. Mind you, because I like politics and I like watching policy, and I know how money moves and et cetera. And I know right now some of the issues that we're dealing with, because the generation before us, they took the monies and et cetera that came from my grandmother's generation that they saved up and did so well to make sure that we had surplus, and they blew it. That's what we're dealing with right now. There's nothing, because they blew it. So we're dealing with their mistakes and after effects. And now we have to rebuild the surplus so that our generation doesn't have to lack.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So how do you feel with us grabbing the keys? Do you have, and I didn't really ever get to ask this of any of our guests before, do you have faith and trust in our generation to steer the car properly?
Because you have to.
You're so hopeful.
Man,
I
I like this
it.
guy.
Think about it. Hope is, if everything left the room, all you have left is hope.
And faith.
Yeah. Because we're doing the work now. Even with this podcast, you're doing the work now. That should give you hope.
That's true.
For what we're going to do for the generation behind us. I think my mom's generation was the generation that came out of the civil rights movement.
Yep.
And it was just basically, it felt freedom. It felt like freedom to them at that point in time. Because you imagine going from not being able to enter the front door or eat at the lunch counter to all of a sudden you can go into the same schools and eat at the same lunch counter. And that's freedom. We're good. We made it.
Yeah.
But the after effects hit us. We don't know how to save. We don't know how to earn.
Yeah.
All we know is the factories. Yeah. And so for our generation, is the survival generation after
That's
the
a good way to
struggle
put it.
generation.
That's a great way to put that. Yeah.
So we basically have to keep our head above water. We have to beat back the demon or the devil that plagued our family, our parents. So we're constantly fighting.
Generational curses.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, we're constantly fighting. That's why I have hope for our generation, because we're fighters.
We never gave up.
Yeah, we were actually the maintainers. We've been sustaining. Now, the generation after us have to put us over the edge.
Yeah. And another name for God is the
sustainer.
Yeah.
So we sustain. Parents fought the good fight.
They did.
We're here to sustain it. The generations that come after us have to get us back over the ledge.
We got to gain our moral confidence.
We got to have that discernment.
Yes.
It's something that has to be taught just the same way as you teach critical thinking skills and the importance of it. And I know it had disappeared for a while, but it's going back. Like they're having you teach that again. Yeah. I really think discernment should be something that is taught to our communities.
I did think about this. If there was one race who has real strength of discernment, it would be the black race. I want to take race out, the black Americans. Because if you think about the way our history started in slavery, we had to understand security, what was at risk. We had to know who we were talking to. I feel like that's ingrained in our DNA now, discernment to know things. Some have more power than others. But we all can get ourselves. And I feel like, and this might be controversial to say, we have to split.
What ways? Yeah. What do you mean?
There's the line is the I care line. I call it I care line. Those who care and there's those who don't care. And right now we've been taught that we have to take care. Everybody has to take care of each other. All of us and the same with all black people. But there's just some that just don't care. We have to come back for them later. We have to care about, work with the people who care now.
Yeah.
The voters, those who want a healthy community, those who want a safe community, those who want education.
Agreed.
Yeah. We have to consider them first and come back for those who just don't care.
Do you believe in I know this story in the Bible about the wheat and the tare, and you separate the shaft. So you separate the wheat from the shaft, the part of the wheat that you can't use. You have to keep them separate.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you can't make proper grain. You can't store, you can't actually make bread from it. You can come back to that stuff later.
Yeah.
Use it for whatever you need to use it for. Usually maybe feed or something. It has some kind of use. But for the time being, you have to separate them.
Yeah.
You feel the same situation. You just have to separate them.
I would just say it this way. We care about those who don't care.
Yeah.
We still have to care about those who don't care.
to.
We have to take care of them.
Yeah.
But we have to build in a place to take care of them. And for those who care now and those who want things, but everybody wants a better life.
Yeah.
But there's those who are working towards a better
Right.
life and those who don't care if we work towards it or not. They're just
Right.
surviving. We have to collect the people who care and build something strong and reach.
So you believe, and this is what I'm getting from what you're saying right now. You don't believe that those who are, not say that like without care, but who are not in the active role of caring, they aren't doing it maliciously.
No.
They're just stuck in survival.
It's stuck in survival. It's an educational gap to learning it. And some of it's part of it's empathy, because I would feel like also there's an empathy line where understand and open to understanding. And there's also mental issues.
Thank you.
Like
Yeah.
the mental
Thank
blockage.
you.
Mental blocks and everything. We have to love them too. Even if in this community here, those we have a lot of those who would destroy the community
Yeah.
for financial gain.
And we celebrate those people.
Yeah,
sadly.
we celebrate those people. We have to, we do missions and then we try to reach out to them. And you should do that. But we got to we can't forget those like you and I who may be voters,
Right.
who may care about the arts, who may go out and buy and purchase Black-owned, who wants to see everybody else succeed.
Yeah.
We have to put our energy in that portion. That's all I'm saying. We just have to put our energy for those who
I get what
want
you're
more.
saying. Not
for
that you're
those-
disliking or trying to forget, but we need to make sure that we're funneling energy to those
Right.
who are.
The right space.
In the right space, because once those people are strong,
Right.
and guess what? They can build something for those
Bring the others up. Yeah.
And they can drop those ways of life
Right.
that were once dysfunctional,
Yeah.
and they'll have something else alternatively that will allow them to
You
succeed.
got to think of this. You can't tell people what to do, but you can show them an option. If they see a stronger people, what do you think? Now they have an option
Yeah.
to walk in the door of the stronger.
I love having
You know.
options. That's what money gives you options.
Yeah.
And you can create your own. Dang, that's a good
'cause
point.
Everybody wants safety. Everybody want to
Yeah.
feel important. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
it wants the better things in life, but all of us don't go by it the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Can you talk about your podcast, the State of Us podcast?
The State
I'm not
of-
really into politics.
Well,
Do you debate?
so State of Us is politically driven, but
Yeah.
also current event, not just only politics.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is what, as a people, we all understand. Politics drive everything you do.
Thank you. That's
From-
why I went
yeah,
into, because
yeah.
I understood it's the science of everything.
Everything from what you put, for how much you charge,
Yep, economics.
what you pay for, how you eat, how much you get paid on the job.
Yep,
You
the
know.
price of tea in China.
Yeah.
that's politics.
It's politics.
I remember my dad saying that. No, what the heck he was talking
The
about?
price
What do you
of
mean by
tea in
that?
Yeah,
I get it.
politics.
Yeah.
So and I feel like it, and that's what a lot of us, through just being in survival mode, lack that understanding on how. Because I feel like if we understood it more, we'd all vote in a more
In our interests, you don't have to say anything else but that.
Yeah.
Move in
Yeah.
silence. Just
Yeah.
You don't have to telegraph your move. Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
vote your interest.
Yeah, so the purpose of my podcast is also to change the image of the Black community. We just talked about how we did a downgrade because of what's coming out of the community.
Yeah.
Through propaganda, through the hundreds of years, Black Americans have been showed to be buffoons.
It took a long time though.
Yeah, it over 100
That's how
years.
you can tell
Over
how
time.
strong we must have been.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now we're at a point through that we've had to do whatever we could to survive. And that's how you got everything it is today. Everybody's just doing what they can to survive. The other day I was in the store and a lady said to her child asked for something. And she's, boy, B ain't got no money. And she said it loud. And she said it in front of a white clerk, which shook her head. And my first thing is, this is how that will affect. This is how what her actions did can affect another Black person. If another Black person came in that looks like her and applied for a job, a position that was open, you think that person is going to think about that experience in that?
True.
Our image is everything. We have to claw back and reclaim our image for ourselves. And we put out what we know we are. This is what they have been taught. So part of my podcast is to rebuild our image, educate us, and keep us informed. And hopefully people will want to be in the know and be in participation of the activities that will bring us to a level of more successful people. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of it.
I like that.
I like that. Image is everything because you only get one time.
What was I know everybody quote unquote learns this from their guidance counselor before they move on up in a high school. If you make it that far, that first impression, everything. There's a taste that you leave in somebody's mouth after they see you the first time. They don't have to ever see you again. And there's another thing too that goes along with it is the last contact that somebody has with you is what they're going to remember of you most. It doesn't matter how much you change.
Everlasting.
Yeah. So you have to make sure if you have changed that you then bring that back. And this is what going back to the Black community in general, the changes that we're making currently to better ourselves and try to reclaim some of that moral high ground that we once had, that's going to involve us. And this is going back, this dialoguing, going back to what we were saying earlier about taking those who care and putting our energy into them.
Yeah.
Because I want them to see those people. I don't need you to see the people who don't care. That's not the image that we need to promote.
Right.
Got to make sure that we're on brand when it comes to that. And I think of all the conversations that we had today, this is a real dialogue today.
Right.
Because we started the morning one way and we're with it.
Everything full circle.
Yeah, everything's full circle. So there must be some reason for this, like serendipity.
Yeah.
It's serendipity. You have to be prepared for it. And I think this is something that is very important. I think this makes so much sense. You were here for a reason.
Yeah.
We were supposed to talk to you today.
Yeah.
You came at the right time. I'm happy we didn't speak to you at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
It was necessary to speak to you at the end. So I think this is excellent. I think this is something that our podcast audience, listeners, anybody, even if you first time you ever hear it and you hear this episode, go back and listen to the other episodes and you're going to see, oh, this actually makes sense. I see where they're going now.
Yeah.
It rounds out perfectly on that topic. And I guess moving forward, it behooves us to be more mindful of our actions, our behaviors, what we're promoting, and who we put our energies into.
Right.
Yes, energy is everything.
Yeah.
So what current projects are you working on? Can we be on your podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be on your podcast.
We need to set that up so you talk to me. We can talk about the community and how we continue to build. Yeah. What's on my plate now? I will be working on a few documentaries for some upstate heroes, and I got a few commercials lined up.
Nice.
Also working on a YouTube series.
Okay. You need an actor? Listen.
Yeah, let me know. And that series is going to be, if you're on TikTok, which I feel like you guys are, there's a battle between the traditional man and the modern one.
I heard about this battle.
Tell me more. I haven't.
You haven't heard?
No, I'm not on TikTok like that.
Okay.
I got one, but I don't be on
I'm
it.
not
Like,
on TikTok. I heard this.
Instagram,
I heard it.
and
That's how I
so
heard
there's
about it.
There's the traditional male, which is the man who has hold on to those traditions and would like the woman to be in the house and pregnant and cook and have things. The women today,
yeah, we're not with it.
No, I ain't doing that.
No, I'm out here working.
Barefooted in the kitchen.
Right. The conflict is that women would like their man to lead. And
oh my Lord Jesus!
And when they lead,
hit it.
it's a conflict.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Okay, so there we go. That is.
You ready? I like that thing. I like it because it brings in a good dichotomy of understanding.
Yeah.
It's okay. What was the name of that show they had back in the day? I'm gonna be wrong with it. With Al Bundy. Love and Marriage and Love and Marriage.
Yeah, I used to watch that. Yeah.
Right.
So the song at the beginning, it goes together like horse and carriage. And it says, like, you can't have one without the other. So you want your man, especially as Black women, to be strong and have the ability to lead out front. At least that's what you want. Because do you want a weak Black man out in front of all these white people?
Paper.
So we just contradict ourselves?
Yeah, it contradicts.
I'm a walking contradiction.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me?
No, but it's not like, it's your fault. Again, you got to realize they've been working on us for the last 400 years.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time to get it to the point where the Black woman will finally say, no, I'm going to be the lead. The man will step to the background. You know how long they had to beat us and tar and feather us and rip us apart, like to get that to happen? How much influx they had to put? They had to work with welfare to do this.
Yeah.
They had to do so many things to get this to happen. So it finally made it to the point where we're looking at it and it's like, all right, this is strange. How did it get here? And I know a lot of folks like to deal with effects. Sometimes you got to ask about the journey. Like, how did we get from point A to point B? I know we're at point B now. Yeah, what's the process? How did we get here? And once we can actually look at those things, and I know you're a process-oriented person, especially when it comes to quality. Yeah. I know you can have a good conversation on your podcast about this. So we definitely would love to join you.
Oh, yeah.
You would love Mike, our person that's not here today. Y'all would have a great conversation. You have to meet Mike.
Man, with that being said, I must ask if there's any social media shameless plugs you want to make. And then also, if anybody's interested in working with you, how do they get in contact? myarticlemedia@gmail.com. I am on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And for the TSOU State of Us podcast on Facebook, just put in TSO podcast and you'll find me. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
This was a great episode.
Excellent episode.
All the episodes was great today.
No, it was dope today. It was dope. It was like
I'm
in the right
going
place.
home with all this knowledge. Greenville, I'm
no,
be back.
Seriously,
I'll
man.
be back.
We created a nice little energy vortex right here for some good energy to go and hit the rest of the world. So we hope it does that. And we hope we accomplish that goal. And I know, just signing out for the Hilltop Glove podcast, I'm DJ and what? Tamaya Allen.
What up, though?
Skip in the background. And of course, our esteemed guest, Mr. McCullough. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Peace.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.